COVID-19 pandemic.
Om Swastiastu. Hi, my name is Wulanti Sandi. I hope all of you are in good condition right now. On behalf of Sacred Bridge Foundation and Catur Muka Swara, I would like to welcome all of you to the 12th session of Sacred Rhythm Reborn Unison's musical performance program. For those who you have only joined us today, the homecoming event had begun from December 30, 2020, spanning across the whole month of January and will end with the closing ceremonies on January 30 and 31st. Music, among other definitions, is a response to context and thus an intellectual creation. Does music still address issues that revolve our lives? As we just entered the third decade of the 21st century, and there are difficult and challenging matters implicating our existence, but new and confronting form of music is yet to be born. When thoughts, values, and practices shift or challenged within societies, music responds in its own ways. Response to changes may take shape in the birth of musical genre, subgenre, and or form within a genre. Absolutism in post-Renaissance era gave birth to a Baroque art. Slavery in the United States bore gospel and blues music. The Cold War triggered the counterculture movement in the 60s and delivered rock music to the world. And urban economic injustice was addressed by the Afro-American with breaking, later known as hip-hop, in 1970s New York City. So, how about today? Psytrance, left-field techno, progressive metal, post-punk, and so on. But how much are actually still responding to the context, issues of today's world? Tonight, we are going to present two Gamelan composers from different continents. Both composers advocate gamelan progression and development amid modern societies. The presentation will convey how gamelan sounds are contextually related to the life and practice of the composers. The composers are Jody Diamond and Putu Septa, accompanied by Nata Swara. Polar to polar in their approaches, sharing their compositions and their musical ideals amidst the current uncertainties and also possibilities. Another appealing thing is that not only that each comes from different cultural heritage, but they also come from two different generations of composers whom never tirelessly continuing to explore new music in search for new ideals. Together, they form a unique program for tonight, an interlocking and daring expedition in concepts, sounds, and vibration inspired by gamelan, American folk, and contemporary classical music. To begin with, she is no stranger anymore in the world of gamelan, both in its roots homeland, Indonesia, but also her home, the United States and beyond, Jody Diamond. Jody Diamond is a gamelan composer, performer, writer, publisher, editor, and educator. She received a BA from the University of California, Berkeley in 1977 and an MA from San Francisco State University in 1979 pursuing interdisciplinary studies in music, anthropology, and education. Jody began her study of gamelan music in the 1970s. Amongst her teachers are some of the prominents of 20th century Japanese gamelan music. To name a few, Pak Chokro had the formal title KPH Nata Praja, Nyi Supadmi, and also Ngai Bei Mardusari, well known in the Mangkunegaran court of Surakarta. As a composer, Jody's role in bridging her local audience, the way gamelan compositions worked, and also deepened their appreciation of the gamelan ensembles playing in their communities are vital for mutual understanding. Her music could be considered to be mutually inspired by gamelan music and practices, but also her own Jewish heritage, which has served as the foundation for many works and partly contributes to the authentic innovation underlying her musical creation. In fact, Jody's participation at the Sacred Rhythm Reborn Unison began at the anniversary event which took place in January 2020. In alignment with the shared vision, Jody contributed perhaps the most personal composition of hers, titled Sabbath Bride, in which its context and purpose resonates with and respond to the concept of harmony in which human has struggled to achieve since his early awakening. The unison in harmonies are present in the music and recording between her American roots, Jewish heritage, Islam, and also Japanese roots. Her sharing of experience and knowledge has only enriched the Reborn Unison journey thus far. In this occasion, she will present her two contrasting compositions, Matahariku and Kenong. Composed in different times of her life, but both are still very relevant to her personal life, but also to the world we live in, continuing effort in the creativity to expand possibilities of gamelan music in practice, notably to seek beyond just inventing new sounds, but also exercising and bringing out the roles and functions of gamelan in society, the importance of communities, establishing tolerance, and even she said once, imagine if the whole world play gamelan, peace may be established. Kenong, for Bonang, composed in 1990 for Pandey Made Sukerta, who believed that music should be baru, gila, and aneh. Performed by Gamelan Son of Lion in New York, December 2019. In the Javanese gamelan, the kenong is an instrument made of 10 large horizontally suspended knob pot gongs. It is usually played by one person who strikes single notes to mark phrases in classical gamelan music. Inspired by the experimental approach to traditional instruments that was the hallmark of new music for gamelan beginning in the 1980s, she wanted to take a new approach to this collection of sounds. Instead of one person playing one note at a time, she decided to explore the possibilities of having enough people for all of the notes to be played at once. Followed by Matahariku, dedicated to Barbara Benery, late. The composition Matahariku is based on the American song You Are My Sunshine and dedicated to Barbara Benery because she and her daughter and I sang this song in 3-part harmony shortly before Barbara died. She could barely talk, but she could harmonize. The composition moves through various stages of abstraction and treatment as a quiet journey toward the song itself. Performed by the Intimate Gamelan of SOAS London 2019, Lucy French on cello, Martina Mihulkova on flute, Aris Daryono on gender, Robert Champion on slantam, Jody Diamond on additional voice. Let's now wait any longer. Here is Jody Diamond with Intimate Gamelan Ensemble and Gamelan Son of Lion.
I'm Jody Diamond, for those of you who came in late. In the Javanese gamelan, there are many instruments that have lots and lots of notes, but they're only played by one person. So who chooses those notes to accent certain places in the melody. I had the idea, well, what if you had enough people that you could play all of those notes instead of having one person just play one at a time? And I had spent a year interviewing experimental composers in Indonesia, and I was inspired to do something like they did with instruments that you don't usually do. So this was written originally for an instrument called kanong, which is a bunch of big gongs, but it can be adapted for other instruments. So tonight we're doing it for an instrument called the bonang. So this is kanong for bonang. I'm just going to check this. Okay. about the beginning because I would have given the path away that we took to get to that song. In the United States, there's a composer named Barbara Ben-Ari. Ben-Ari in Hebrew means son of lion. And so when she built her first gamelan 30 years ago, she named it Gamelan Son of Lion. And Gamelan Son of Lion is the longest running composers collective gamelan group based in New York City. They've commissioned and played hundreds and hundreds of works. Well, Barbara was suffering from Parkinson's very badly over the last several years, and I went to visit her. She was in bed. She could barely talk. And I was singing her some Javanese songs that we played together in gamelan concerts. And then I started singing You Are My Sunshine. And she bopped me on the head and she said, "That's an American song." And then her daughter came in and the three of us sang it in 3-part harmony, this song. She could hardly talk, but she could still harmonize. So I was really moved by that. Then later her daughter told me that when she was a young girl that her mother would sing this song to her all the time. So it meant a lot to her. And then I found out that after she died, which was about a month ago, a friend came over with a wayang puppet, and in the bag before Barbara went to be cremated, she put the wayang puppet, she put some flowers, and she sang this song. So I'm working on a series of pieces for Barbara called Barbara's Sunshine, and I thought this would be a nice chance to think about this in a new way. So Matahariku means my son, basically. So thank you very much for listening to this.
In contrast, but equally daring in challenging tradition in exploration, I would like to introduce to you Putu Septa and Sanggar Nata Swara. Putu Septa is a young composer who took education in karawitan composition in Isi, Bali, together with Nata Swara, an art community that focuses on sound explorations of gamelan and electronic instruments formed by the composer in Padang Tegal village, Ubud, Bali. Besides musical works, he also incorporates instrumental music, dance music, and music for movies, and many more. His devotion to gamelan music started from childhood, whose grandfather was also a gamelan musician, has been his inspiration. He joined tour groups such as Gamelan Salukat, Gamelan Yuga Nada, and Shangri-La. Putu Septa will play the piece Pillar 3. They will show us the electronic sound explorations that depart from the perspective of gamelan musician, whereby gamelan practices are conceived with electronics and experimental influences, giving rise to something wholly innovative. The instruments that are played by Nata Swara's musicians are gamelan Sada Sancaya that was designed by Iputu Adi Septa Suweca Putra himself. The Reborn Unison homecoming journey is continuing until the end of the month. So don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. And for updates on our schedule and events, please visit our website and also our Instagram page. So thank you for watching tonight, and here is Putu Septa and Sanggar Nata Swara. Om Santi 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 Om.
COVID-19.